As of March 16, 2026, the third week of Operation Epic Fury has transitioned from a stratospheric air campaign into a total maritime strangulation of the Iranian regime. While B-2 Spirits and F-35s have spent the last 18 days gutting the missile cities of the Alborz Mountains, the steel fist of the United States Navy has moved into its final lethal position. The USS Abraham Lincoln, CVN-72, and the USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, carrier strike groups are now operating with aggressive proximity to the Iranian coastline, supported by a screen of Arleigh Burke-class destroyers that have effectively turned the Persian Gulf into a private American lake. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, in a briefing earlier today, declared that the Iranian Navy has been annihilated as a coherent fighting force. With the sinking of more than 30 vessels and the destruction of the IRGC Navy's main ammunition depots in Bushehr, the U.S. has cleared the path for the F divided by a -18E divided by F Super Hornets to begin the terminal phase of the conflict, the systematic erasure of Iran's remaining energy and military infrastructure. The backbone of the strike, Super Hornet dominance. The F/A-18 Super Hornet has emerged as the workhorse of this historic campaign. Launching in continuous 24-hour cycles from the decks of the Lincoln and the Ford, carrier Air Wing 9, CVW-9, is executing what analysts call pulse operations. Unlike the stealthy, one-off missions of the F-35, the Super Hornets are providing the sustained, heavy-volume fire necessary to suppress thousands of targets across 6 provinces. Equipped with the latest Block 3 advancements, these jets are acting as the primary delivery system for AGM-158 JSSM cruise missiles and joint standoff weapons, JSOW. Their mission is clear: the hunt for mobile launchers. Using advanced sensor fusion and networking, Super Hornets are tracking the few remaining IRGC mobile missile units that have attempted to hide in civilian residential areas. Refinery neutralization. Following President Trump's warning on March 14th, Super Hornet strike packages have begun pre-targeting the oil terminals on Karg Island, signaling that the regime's economic lifeblood is seconds away from being severed. Air-to-air supremacy. In the rare instances where Iran's Russian-made Su-35 flankers have attempted to intercept the Armada, the Super Hornets, guided by E-2D Hawkeye early warning aircraft, have maintained a perfect kill ratio, picking the Iranian interceptors out of the sky before they can even lock their radars. The destroyer screen, Tomahawk ring. Supporting the carriers is a formidable line of guided missile destroyers, including the USS Spruance, USS Michael Murphy, and USS Bainbridge. These vessels are not just defensive escorts. They are the primary source of the Tomahawk rain that has characterized the last 100 hours of the war. The destroyers have been repositioned to within striking distance of the Iranian red zones, allowing for near-instantaneous response times. When a satellite or a drone detects an IRGC command vehicle emerging from a bunker in Isfahan, a Tomahawk is launched from a vertical cell in the Gulf within minutes. This level of persistent, localized pressure has broken the IRGC's command and control, leaving Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei, who reportedly remains wounded, unable to coordinate even a basic defensive response. The forced reopening of the strait. The most critical objective of this naval positioning is the forced reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. After Iran's desperate attempts to use naval mines and suicide boats to block the world's most vital energy choke point, the U.S. Navy has executed a clean sweep protocol. Marine AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters and Navy MH-60 Seahawks, launched from the strike group's cruisers and destroyers, have methodically cleared the Iranian swarm boat bases. This has allowed the Navy to begin organizing forced convoys for commercial tankers. The message to the global markets is unambiguous. The Strait of Hormuz will stay open under the protection of American steel, and any attempt by the regime to interfere will result in the immediate obliteration of the nearest Iranian coastal city. Tehran in shock, the end of resistance. The shock in Tehran is palpable. The regime's narrative of strategic patience has been burned away by the reality of 2 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers parked off their shore. Reports from within the capital describe a state of total paralysis. The IRGC, once the most feared force in the region, is now watching its ships burn in their slips and its airfields disappear under Super Hornet fire. The human cost, however, has become a flashpoint for international concern. The February 28th strike on a school in Minub, which killed over 100 children due to what the Pentagon described as reliance on outdated data, has sparked intense scrutiny. Amnesty International has called for accountability, yet the military tempo shows no sign of slowing. As Secretary Hegseth noted, the mission is laser-focused: destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, and ensure no nukes. We are achieving those goals with ruthless precision. The endgame, a new regional reality. The arrival of the carrier strike groups and the aggressive posture of the F/A-18 fleet represent the final punctuation mark on the 47-year conflict between the U.S. and the Islamic Republic. By moving into these kill box positions, the Navy has removed the regime's ability to project power even within its own territorial waters. As the sun sets over the Persian Gulf on March 16th, the horizon is dominated by the silhouettes of American destroyers and the constant, thundering afterburners of Super Hornets returning for fuel and more bombs. For the regime in Tehran, the message is clear: the window for negotiation has closed. The end for Iran is no longer a slogan. It is a tactical reality being enforced by the most powerful naval armada the world has ever seen. The era of the Islamic Republic's regional hegemony has officially reached its twilight. What began as a series of strikes has evolved into a historic realignment of Middle Eastern power. As the IRGC's foundations crumble under the weight of the F-35 campaign, the silence of the aftermath speaks to a total technological defeat. The permanent arrival of the steel bridge and heavy armored divisions signals that the old order has passed, replaced by a horizon defined by American industrial endurance. American logistics have turned the steel bridge into the definitive end for the regime's survival strategy. While orbital assets track the evaporation of Tehran's military hardware and fuel, the U.S. logistical network provides a limitless stream of reinforcements. The nonstop rotation of C-17 transport aircraft maintains a 10-to-1 replacement ratio for every defensive missile used, transforming the theater into a showcase of American endurance. By flooding the border with Abrams tanks and high-precision artillery systems, Washington has effectively boxed the IRGC into a tactical cage of their own making. Each heavy transport touching down signifies that the U.S. will not be deterred, outmoving and outfighting the regime until the mission's completion.